Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bomber Banter, and welcome to the post-replay review of our round 17 game against the Suns. We went down by 41 points. The final score was 74 to 115, 11-8 to 18-7. It was a interesting old game and a roller coaster of emotions, just like our year has been. I mentioned on the fan cams that it's an interesting old year because we're kind of swimming between emotions, but not highs and super highs and super lows, because we're understanding and accepting of where we're at. So that explains a lot of the losses, which takes the temperature down a little bit on how angry we feel, how disappointed we feel, because there's a clear understanding, injuries, rebuilding, etc. And then when we do win, when we have got our wins, particularly against against all the bottom teams, so that's a tick, we've beaten who we should, but against those teams that haven't been great showing, so the wins haven't been super exciting, super impressive, and so the emotion is tempered because we're not feeling overly great and overly passionate. But it does make me fear that next year, the expectation and how we view next year and the season 2026 is going to be really different, because the group and the coaching group and Brad Scott and the administration have all got away with our tempered emotions and our tempered expectations this year, because we can all see realistically and logically what's going on. But next year, that expectation level is going to go up and the patience is going to go down. So it's just interesting sitting here as a supporter and not feeling that high and low of emotions. And I don't know, is that how you feel? Let me know in the comments. Perhaps I feel that way because I've started this journey and this Bomber Banter, and, I feel like I have to be, a little bit I have to stay neutral for all of you. I have to be able to be unbiased when it comes to, reviewing our team and the expectations and all of that. And I need to stay calmer and not over project where we are and overestimate where we are or underestimate where we are. So maybe that's just, I'm feeling like that because I have to for the channel, and that's helped me actually emotionally. But I also do feel like even on socials, there's just a different temperature in terms of the feelings and expressions of Essendon supporters this year. But I just am, maybe I'm looking too far ahead of the future, but I just feel come next year, the expectation level is not going to be, there's going to be a lot more anger and a lot more rage and disappointment if we're not really making quite a big chunk of headway. I don't want to say, double as good as we are this year, but we need to see some tangible improvements in terms of the structure and the chemistry and the synergy next year. So I just have been thinking a bit about that, about the expectations. What do you think? Are you feeling that way in terms of how you go into each game and how your emotional reaction is post-game, particularly in the losses? Let me know. All right, on to this game. I thought it was an incredibly spirited performance, which I absolutely loved. Energetically, I like to touch on the energy and the body language and all that. Energetically, it was a very spirited performance, and that permeated throughout Marvel Stadium, and the crowd there was an energy in the crowd that we haven't had for a little while. We could really feel, we were just, bubbling to really get behind the boys. And in the third quarter, after May's third one, we got the chant going, the stomping going, and the cheers, in between the goal and the centre bounce. And the crowd were just begging and waiting for a moment to get behind this group. It was exciting to be a part of, because it's been quite a while that we've felt that way and had moments where we could feel that way, and especially at Marvel, where it's, it's a Thunderdome, and you really, really reverberates throughout the stadium, and you can feel that intense energy, and you can feel that they feel it and kind of perform accordingly. So I thought we had no right to be as close as we were against the Gold Coast, given our backline and where Gold Coast are at on their trajectory. I thought, they have been just, if you look at their injury list this year, I understand they didn't have Sam Collins yesterday and they chose to manage Wits, but Moyle's no schlum. Like he's been very, very good as well in there too. So I just think their injury list has been so good. Their core group have been together for so long now. They have stars on every single line. They are flying at the moment. They play a really tough, quick, contested brand of football. They are fit and firing, and I just felt that they were poised to really just kill us by quite a lot. We know that they don't love playing Marvel Stadium, and that was, they don't play there a lot because I think they kicked it out in the full quite strangely a few times, 3 or 4 times. So that was pretty evident. But I thought we really stuck in there. We really didn't have a right to, but the spirit and the energy and the passion that they played with was fantastic. And you know what? It was, let's not sugarcoat it. It wasn't the senior players aside from Merritt and Ridley. It was all of the young guns. It was all of that young energy and spirit that they just project, and it's contagious, and it's passion, and they feel like they're building something because they actually make up the core of this playing group at the moment. And so what an incredible bond they are building together, and they're carrying this side at the moment. If you on the ledger, they're making up the core side of the group. So you can feel the confidence, especially in guys like Caddy and Kako now. Roberts standing up in big moments. I did say on Twitter that it felt like the pace in which they transitioned from our forward 50 out of our forward 50 was really, really disturbing. And it's more disturbing because it feels like something we have not improved on. But when I watch the replay, you can actually see that, yes, that did happen and they were getting that quick on occasion, but not as much as they could have been, especially when that's their kind of ethos. That's how they play. They play quick. They play energetic. They get you at the back. They've got 2 or 3 mids sitting at the back. Yesterday, particularly, it was Miller and Merritt were matched up on one another, but neither were doing kind of like a shutdown role on one another. And but they both got off the chain quite a bit because they weren't focused on shutting each other down. So we certainly did, and were able to minimise, I will say, their ability to transition really, really quickly. Our pressure was really high. The tackling was incredible. Gold Coast tackling was incredible too, but we knew they were going to bring that. It was really easy to see on replay that the reasons why we crashed out in the last, and the reason why we ran out of legs, because for the first 3 quarters, it was fast, it was quick, it was high energy, it was high pressure, contested footy. And it was a brand that I felt like it was, for the first time, maybe the second time this year, aside from kind of the Melbourne game, maybe the Port game and the Carlton game in spurts, I felt like I could see a brand of footy that is sustainable long term once this group gets, a bit fitter and, starts to develop that real chemistry. And I mean, and that real synergy, firstly, between the mids and the forwards, and secondly, the forwards with each other, not, Clark's back on the wing and in the forward line and he's flying for balls when 2 metre Peter and Caddy are flying. That's not going to be happening in a couple of years' time. So on 2 metre Peter and the forwards and the mids, in the first quarter, so Hobbs kicks the first goal of the game and by a free. Duz was about to kick the ball into the forward 50. And I've been harping on, all know I love 2 metre Peter, but his leadership this year is something that has gone under the radar and has gone, underappreciated in my eyes. And yesterday I saw a moment in the first quarter, he made a lead and Duz was just about to bomb it into the forward line without lowering his eyes, and he had time. He had gotten a free kick, so the Gold Coast defender was on the mark and he was kicking from a free kick. Instead of lowering his eyes, if he had, he would have seen 2 metre Peter get separation from Mac Andrew, who wore him like a glove, and make a beautiful lead in space with about 10 metres free in front of him. It would have been just on a 15-metre kick, perfect. All Durham had to do was hit a 15-metre kick, and that would have given Peter Wright a shot at goal. Now, I want to show you that moment. So forget this bit here, right? I'm talking about, let me bring it back. Here, I've got an arrow. Just ignore the circle that's going to happen here, highlighting the Hobbs free. This is 2 metre Peter here, standing with Mac Andrew. And you'll see, I'll press play here. Look, 2 metre Peter gets a bit of separation, realises Mac's not going with him, then goes into the space. Now, let me pause this. I just need to see. As you can see where Durham is. Durham's about to bomb it ahead. Here's Durham. He's about to bomb the ball into where Caddy's standing here. Now, 2 metre Peter has 15 metres in front of him and not a Gold Coast player near him because Mac Andrew is looking at Durham and seeing Durham about to bomb the ball here into the square. And Mac Andrew's following Durham's eyesight, not 2 metre Peter. And 2 metre Peter, mind you, I'm sitting over here. So 2 metre Peter's yelling at him, saying does. He doesn't listen. He doesn't see. He doesn't lower his eyes. Now, as I said, Durham is standing there from a free kick. So he's not on the run. He's got time. He's got space, and he's got mental space. He's got the mental space to actually lower the eyes and see the target. After that moment, whilst Hobbs is kicking for goal, Hobbs gets the goal, 2 metre Peter does this to Durham, not in a demonstrative way, but in a really caring, teaching, leadership way, and she says, mate, did you see I lowered the eyes, I had my arms up, I was yelling at you, all you had to do was lower the eyes and see me right there and hit me up. And I just thought, what a wonderful moment. Would we call him a younger player, more inexperienced? No, I wouldn't. He's still young, but not a baby. And I just love that from 2 metre Peter. And it's not the first time. And you may think that's so insignificant and so dumb and so little, but I'm highlighting it because it's only one of a multitude of times he's doing that. He's grabbing May by the shirt multiple times a game, Caddy, pointing and saying where to go and don't fly for that and come over here and I'll take Mac over here. And he's doing it multiple times a game all year. And I just thought it was a really wonderful moment to be able to see really close up. And I just thought it was good to show you guys what's happening and his leadership. And just on the leadership, Ridley was another one. I saw him pointing all day. He was directing. He was so calm, so poised. He does so much more being back in this team than just pushing, Clark back onto the wing and in the forward line and pushing Merritt out of the back line. He is so much more than that, and we need to keep him healthy. We need to keep him injury-free. I think overall, I want to talk about Merritt quickly. Wonderful. And I know the discussion is going to be, this is why you play Merritt in the middle because look, he goes and has that kind of game. But it's not just about the now, it's about the future. It's about learning to play without Merritt, getting 40 and dominating and getting us out of a hole and wearing the world on his shoulders. Look what is happening to Patrick Cripps at the moment at Carlton. How good is that doing them? Patrick Cripps having to carry the team on his back all year because then you have a B grade, a B level, a C level, a D level of players who have no idea how to step up in moments when Patrick Cripps is having a down moment or having a down day. And so the bigger picture here is to have Merritt not playing in that midfield. So guys like Setterfield, Calders, Durham, Martin are all learning how to play and how to step up when Merritt is not the one excelling. So whilst he was fabulous yesterday, he was playing with a different spirit and maybe the bye did him good, a mental load off. He wasn't playing for free kicks. He wasn't over-exaggerating, little touches. His body language was good. He was, energetic and buzzy. And I don't know that I love that distinction, as in I don't know that I love not seeing him play like that when he's in the back line or in the forward line. I want to see him playing with that energetic buzz and not playing for free kicks and good body language when he's everywhere. Not just when he's back in his preferred position. So I didn't love that, and maybe you'll call me harsh for saying that, and that's fine. And maybe he's got so much currency in the bank that it's okay that he was doing that. Or maybe he's just tired. Who knows? But I'd like to think that Merritt knows that he's got to do what's good for the team in the long term now, and this is actually going to help him get the success he craves, teaching this young midfield to play without him and to excel without him. So that was just a little thought on Merritt. What do you think? Is it harsh? Who knows? Let's go to okay. Twix Awards were pretty easy for me. 3 goes to Merritt. 2 Twix go to Caddy. I mean, running out of superlatives, but I'll keep giving them to him. He's the strut, the subtle strut, with when he grabs a mark, a big mark, and then goes back for the goal. I just like hook it into my veins. I could watch it on repeat forever. And 1 goes to Kako. I thought he had one of his best games that he's had for the club. I think he's been really undersold his game, his year, and I'm so glad he got the reward yesterday. Obviously got that goal, 10 contested possessions, 7 goal involvements, 15 pressure acts, 3 inside 50 tackles, 5 tackles overall, and then 3 inside 50 as well. So a really, really complete game from him. I think Joe Montagna on the telecast said it really well. If Caddy doesn't get you, Kako will. And how exciting that we have those 2 for the next decade and hopefully more after that. Very exciting. Half for Twix I gave to May, Lual, Blackiston, Colders, Setters, 2 metre Peter, Roberts and Ridley. And how exciting that outside of Merritt and Ridley in all those Twix Awards, the rest of them made up of the bebes and the 20, 23, 24-year-olds. So I think there is certainly something special building. We've got lots and lots of work to do, and a bit of a tidy up on our game plan and structure, but little tweaks in the off season that can be made, and a little bit more education with each passing week. These players are getting more educated about the game plan and the style, and Brad Scott is getting more educated on the tools he has to work with. I likened it last week to the crayon box, and right now Brad Scott's got a mix of colours and he doesn't know what's there, but a few of them are over there because they're injured and long term, and he's just playing around with what he's got. And it must be a really exciting time, but also, it's at a really important time because it's going to shape the rest. It's going to shape our next tilt at winning a final and winning a premiership. So we must get this right, and I think there are signs to say that we are. Maybe not complete secure signs yet, but certainly signs. So I'll leave it there for today. Thank you for all your support. The fan cams were very fun after the game, and all your continued support is very much appreciated. I'll have a little video out for you this week in regards to the injuries, something fun that we can all get involved in. Tomorrow night you'll have your Fiona's forecast for our game against Richmond for Saturday night, and then back Thursday night for the live team selection show. So everybody take care, big love, and I'll see you during the week.